we've made a one-of-a-kind hanging basket, planted it up with luscious succulents. Now we have to find a spot in the garden so we can hang it up. Right, folks, we're ready to hang our basket. We've got a couple of things that you're going to need. An eye hook, nice big guy. We've got a nice wooden beam. And Garth, you've got the drill there ready. We're just going to put a little pilot hole in there to make screwing this little guy in easier. So whack him in there, Garth.
Okay.
Should do him. It's a problem when both people are short on this set. And now we're just going to screw this okie in. Right, folks, the next little guy we've got is this. This is a little attachment. You'll recognize them, and you can buy them just like this with the 2 screws from your local hardware store. And this is going to go kind of down the beam, about halfway down your beam where your attachment is going to go. So that guy, Garth, you need a screw, and pop that baby in. Lovely stuff. Right, next guy in. Good. Not moving. Nope. Alrighty. Now, the final bit to our little trick is one of these guys. This is a little pulley. You can get them in all different sizes. You see the little wheel here that goes round. It's got a little hook. And the trick is as follows. Watch carefully. We're going to take this oak and we're going to clip this little oak onto here. There we go. Next, we take the piece of rope that we did not cut, the long length. Alright, that's that guy. And we're simply going to feed it through our pulley. There we go, and you see how nicely that works.
Wow.
Okay, our basket is on the floor. We're going to take up the slack. And now the moment of truth, when you start putting some tension onto this guy, and you're now going to start lifting up your hanging basket. I'm so nervous. There we go. Up comes the baby. Okay, and the most important part about hanging baskets is where you hang it. Because we don't want to see the underside, although ours is particularly beautiful. But ultimately, you want the plants to be at eye level. So we can come down a little bit more, Garth. That's it, eye level. Are we at eye level? You know, for you and I, that's a completely different level. But for you and I, this is our hanging basket. And then literally just take the rest of your rope, hook it round here, making sure you've got it nice and secure. Right, Garth. There we go. Hey, presto. Take that leaf away. Ha-ha! And we've got a beautiful hanging basket. You know, and this is how baskets should be. They should be that you've got them at the right level. Eventually, these guys are all going to cascade down. And then at that point, of course, you could lift it just a little bit higher. And also, you know, one of the biggest problems with hangest baskets is watering. That's right. I mean, Garth, how are we going to water that thing if it's way up there?
Especially us.
So, the best solution is certainly to have something like this on a little pulley system that you can then bring it down. You know, it's not that you're trying to unhook it from up there. Bring it down, you can water the plant, water your basket as you need, and then hoist it back up to the right level. All that this basket needs is loads of sun. Remember, feed it with some liquid pot plant food, and in no time at all, this guy is just going to do its thing. So what if you're not into succulents and you don't have a very hot spot that you want to put your hanging baskets? What are the other options? Well, here you go. If you've got a shaded area, when I talk about shade, it could be deep shade or it could just get light, so no direct sun. If you've got that situation, then try one of these guys. It's called Selaginella. I mean, look at it. Yes, it is in a pot. I mean, there it is. But that in a basket would look just fantastic. And you know, if you're one of those impatient gardeners and you want that instant look, you grab one of these, pop it in your hanging basket. Looks like it's been there for years. It's a good option. When it starts getting a bit too long, all you got to do is give it a bit of a pruning. Remember to feed it with some liquid pot plant food, and you're good to go. So this is for a well-lit area, as long as it's light, no direct sun, or into quite a shaded area. Another option for shade is this beautiful guy over here. This is called Ajuga Burgundy Glow. You can already see it's starting to do what we want it to do. Got lovely burgundy flecks in its leaf, gets a flower. That in a hanging basket is a great specimen. Also good for deep shade, deep shaded garden, or into an area where you want to hang the basket, which is not going to receive any direct sun. Remember, it's not direct sun, it's just light. Okay, so that's another cool option. Also, for a bit of shade, this fantastic guy, indigenous, called Plectranthus, lemon and lime, and you can see why it's called that. I mean, in that, beautiful contrasts against it. Also, by nature, it's a trailing plant. We've used this once before in one of our makeovers, and you remember we used it as a ground cover, because that's exactly what it'll do in the garden. But if not, in a hanging basket, it will just cascade over here. When it gets too long, give it a bit of a prune, and away you go. But really electrifying colors, and certainly a plant that's a no-nonsense guy. And then if you've got a bit more sun, and you're wanting something permanent as well, then take a look at this. I mean, look at that flower. It's one of the new Portulacas. It's double Portulaca. Looks almost like a rose, with the little yellow edges, bright pink in the inside. Portulaca is seriously tough. It's like no-nonsense, gardening 101. I will battle to kill you. Lots of hot sun in this little basket. One plant will do the job absolutely fine. And then we've got its other little relative, cousin of it, the single-flowered Portulaca. You can see all of this is buds. All of these guys are buds here. They really do go on and on and on. They're great performers in the garden, in containers, and of course in hanging baskets. Remember, we've shown you permanent options here for your basket. And of course, if you go along to your local garden centre and you ask them, please can I have something that's just going to give me loads of colour just for the season, then you're wanting to look at bedding plants, summer bedding plants or winter bedding plants, whatever the season is, that you can just pop in here, whether they're pansies, whether they're some salvias, or whether it's just some alyssum. The choice is yours. And the great news about it, you can just interchange it as you're going along. We had an email in from Bruce, who lives in Belfast. Now that's seriously cold. I mean, first of all, you can grow tulips there where you live, but more importantly, he wanted to know, well, what about my hanging baskets? How do I look after them, and how do I deal with them, especially during the winter? Will they get frosted? Well, here's the good news. Because your baskets are above the ground, they are hanging, the frost belt is not necessarily going to get to them. And most times your baskets are just off a property, off a building, off a wall, which means that the heat will be retained into the bricks. And the major fact is that it's off the ground. If you had to put the same basket on the ground and leave it there, it will most definitely get frosted. So in that case, put your plants in hanging baskets, drag them up, and you'll be sure that they won't frost at all. That's hanging baskets, folks. Make it, plant it, enjoy it. Till next week, take care of you and yours, and most importantly, happy gardening.
Make 15% more concrete from every bag. The Gardener is brought to you by PPC.